Hi, welcome back to the course. In the last module, we went over some of the basic information that you're going to need to know to be successful in the course. So we did show you how to set up VirtualBox in Kali Linux as well. And that's if you're not using the Cybrary labs. I do recommend you use the Cybrary lab environment just because you get so much access to so many different machines that you can pretty much do just about anything. We also went over a quick lab on password cracking with a tool called John the Ripper. So that's a dictionary attack type of tool, and so we used a word list against our very simple password, and we were able to crack that. We also talked about some basic things like black hat, white hat versus gray hat, different laws that you're going to need to know as a penetration tester or, quote-unquote an ethical hacker, and then also the CIA triad. So in this video right here, we're going to go over a pre-assessment for our Module 2, so our footprinting section. And then right after that, we're going to jump into the footprinting lecture, and then we have several labs that we're going to do to kind of hone in your skills. So let's go ahead and get started here. Now, I do want to mention, if you haven't looked at Module 1 yet, pause this video and go back to that. There's a lot of information you're going to need, especially if you're going to try to take the Certified Ethical Hacker examination through EC Council. What I've done is kind of basically included just about anything you would need to know for kind of their introduction type of section on that exam material. So you definitely want to check it out. It's a lot of good information, even just good information for your career in the industry. So let's get back to our pre-assessment here. Question number 1. John is a criminal hacker and he decides to search the dumpster outside Super Secret Incorporated to see if he can find any information about the company. So according to EC Council definition, John is doing what? So again, just think of the kind of the exam type of definition there. All right, so if you chose answer C, you are correct, right? So it's going to be passive footprinting according to EC Council's definition. But in real life, if you jump in a dumpster of a company and someone sees you, you're going to be talking to the police or security at a minimum. So that would be active. That would require some kind of interaction. But for our purposes, this question was defined off of the EC Council material, and so it's going to be passive footprinting if someone jumps in the dumpster. So essentially, it's dumpster diving. All right, question number 2. Which example of these would be passive footprinting? All right, so if you said answer B, performing Google hacking on the target, you are correct. So again, our main difference there between active and passive is interaction. So we look at A there, it says having coffee with, interacting with them. C kind of gives it away, right? It says interacting with the target on social media. Now, even though we don't meet them in person, it's still that interaction is what's going to cause it to be active footprinting. And then, of course, we have tailgating as well. Now, to digress just a moment, tailgating and piggybacking in real world are generally considered the same thing. So basically, you're following somebody, some authorized user through the door, and you're not authorized. Nobody knows who you are. But the EC Council definition, tailgating, basically it means that you have a fake badge, or you as the criminal have a fake badge, and you just follow someone in through the door. And whereas piggybacking is you don't have a fake badge and you just follow someone through the door. I know, kind of clear as mud there, but that's you have to know that for the exam. You probably won't see it too much, but just kind of keep that in the back of your head. Question number 3. So the command to search for only files of a specific type is which? All right, so if you guessed file type : type, you are correct. Now, that command may or may not still work in Google hacking, and that's what we're talking about in this particular question, or Google dorking as it's sometimes called. That command may or may not work in that at this time or in the future, so just keep that in mind, and we'll talk about that in the actual Google hacking lab we do. So the info : string actually displays information that Google stores about the particular page itself. Answer C, the link string. That one there displays linked pages based on a particular search term. And then, of course, in URL, that one is pretty self-explanatory, but basically displays pages, with the string inside of the URL. So, for example, if I had a website URL called www.microsoft.com/password, and I did a search for if I did an in URL string for password. Then it should, list Microsoft.com/password for one of the search results. So, and that's kind of a strange example. I hope Microsoft's not that bad at security that they would leave something like that, but you just never know. So question number 4 here, if I want to get notified anytime a company updates their social media page, or any other page for that matter, I can set up a what? All right, so if you said alert or alerts, that is correct there. So you don't want to like set up a URL. That doesn't make any sense. A website, could be beneficial, but you'd have to set up like RSS feeds and stuff like that. What's the point of all that when you could just do answer C and set up an alert? Whether that's Google or some other tool out there. And then of course answer D is wrong as usual. It's distributed denial of service, and that's a type of attack type. So in this video, we went over just kind of a high-level pre-assessment for this particular module. I do want to stress that we just touched on like 4 questions here, but these kind of cover the generalized information that we're going to look at. Now there are labs in the module, but then in the next video, we're going to jump into the lecture component of it.